Candlewick on Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of The Orphan Band of Springdale by Ann Nesbet, performed by Kate Rudd. Gusta Newbronner hadn't expected to be on a bus in Maine when she lost her father. Things never happen the way we imagine them ahead of time. "Sit here," her father had said hardly a moment ago. They hadn't meant to come late to the Portland-Springdale bus, of course, but they had been riding buses all day and all night, New York to Boston, and then waiting in Boston, and then Boston to Portland, and then in the waiting room here in Portland. And the truth was they must have both nodded off, even her father. That must have been what had happened. So then there was a hurry to the bus, and other people already on board, and her father had pushed her scruffy suitcase onto the rack above her head and said, "Sit here," so she had done so, next to this woman with the scratchy blue coat. And then he had said something else, something urgent and hard to hear, and dashed right back off the bus again. Why? He had said something, so it must have been an explanation. Had he gone to grab a cup of coffee? He was tired out. They were both so tired out. And he did like the bitter taste of coffee. But coffee wasn't worth risking missing their bus, was it? Gusta took a ragged breath and squinted toward the front of the bus, willing him to come bounding up the steps again. She would know him anywhere, just from the way he moved, with impatience like springs in the soles of his feet, and his shoulders always tense, ready to push boulders aside if boulders appeared. "Hurry up, Papa," she told him. Two men did come swinging up the steps then, but neither one of them moved like her father. Their eyes looked like mysterious dark pools to Gusta. They stood at the front of the bus looking at all the tired people sitting there, waiting to be on their way to Springdale. And they said in terrible, hard voices, "August Newbronner," which was Gusta's father's name. Then they started moving down the aisles, looking at all the men who might be August Newbronner, and as they brushed by Gusta, paying no attention to her because she was just a scrawny 11-year-old girl, tucked up next to a woman in a blue coat, she saw that the dark pools were actually dark glasses, and the men were in uniforms, and that was how she knew the thing they had been dreading and expecting all these months, even years, was actually really happening. Not in some shadowy future, but right now, for real, in 1941. "When they come for me," her father used to say at the dinner table in New York, and her mother would say, "Now, August," and he would say, "We've got to have a plan, always. When they come for me." There were things to be hidden and things to be done. And if they were in a place with a back window, maybe Gusta's mother could even talk to them to give Gusta's father time to climb out and run. And in all of these plans, Gusta's job was to not say anything. But never in any of those imaginings of the terrible moment when they would come for her father had Gusta been alone at dawn on a bus in Portland. Every part of her started to tremble. Waves of trembling that rose up from the horn case between her feet and made her stomach tight and her arms shaky. There were grumbles from the people on the bus as the men asked for identity papers here and there in the back. There was no August Newbronner at the back of the bus. The men from the government retreated back down the aisle. "Sorry, folks," they said. "We've got us a fugitive to track down.